Hi, I'm Andy. Welcome to the A.D.K Rock and Metal channel. This morning I'm joined by three members of new wave of British heavy metal, traditional metal band from London, Tempest. We've got vocalist Joe, guitarist James, and bass player Luke. Hello.
How's it going, Andy?
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. For those, people won't know, but we're actually speaking to each other the morning after the Metal to the Masses Hitchin grand final. So following on from that, I just wanted to say, I think you guys impressed a lot of people at that competition. I certainly was. Just wondered if you could perhaps run through a couple of your favourite moments and experiences from that show, because you made it to the semi-finals, you played two great gigs, and I thought you were fantastic, and I was very disappointed you didn't make the final. But what are your thoughts and memories from that sort of competition?
Well, I appreciate it, Andy. Appreciate the kind words. Thoughts and memories. Well, it was fun. We'd never done anything like that before. We entered it just sort of on the off chance, and we, thought, let's give it a try, see how it goes, see how far we can take it. Astonished we got through, if I'm honest with you, to the semi-finals. We're really, really happy, proud of ourselves to do it, and it was a good experience. I think everyone agrees it's also like the best mix we've ever had as well, which is fucking sweet. But
an experience,
big time. The competition was great. Everybody who runs it is lovely, and it's just professional, and that's what we like.
Yeah, I mean the sound throughout, because we've had the same guy, Aaron Peters. He's absolutely brilliant. He's been on the sound desk for all the shows, and it's been absolutely top notch. And the quality of bands this year has been fantastic as well. And last night's final was a really sort of fitting end to the competition. But as I said, shame you guys didn't make it. You weren't at full strength, I believe, because Luke, you were playing. We spoke briefly after I think the semi-final show. We were chatting. You had a baritone guitar, sort of playing the sort of bassier end of the riffs. Is that because you were sort of missing a member, or is that the sort of current lineup as it is? Because I can't remember what you
the current lineup. But we're trying to capture that 80s like 5-piece sound. So I play on a wider range rather than making James come down on the wider range. So it allows him to play the leads much more cleanly without too much low end.
Okay.
But that means I have to compensate with a much more higher end.
So that
makes sense.
That is the band's sort of current lineup. That wasn't kind of like a temporary measure for the competition.
No, there's only four of us.
Okay. But you want to create that 5-piece sound.
Yeah, it's kind of like to compensate for that missing second guitar.
Okay. All right. And today we're speaking to you from your studio, I believe. You're in the process of, in between, just before you sort of set it up for, for use. Is that right? Is that for band recording or?
Yeah. So I've got this rental unit here, giving it a test run for a couple months. And then hopefully if it goes well and we're comfortable with the space, it should be a nice place to rehearse on that.
Okay. Is that sort of opening up for other bands to use, or just solely for your own use? I mean, that's a step forward for a band.
Currently, the plans is solely for us at the moment, because it's going to be a lot of our personal gear in here. So I don't particularly want to open it, and it's quite small compared to like normal rehearsal rooms.
All right. So storage, rehearsal, recording. Brilliant. Yeah. That sounds really good. Okay.
Like rough demos.
Yeah. So let's go back to the beginning. Can one of you give me a sort of brief history of the band? How when it was formed, how it was formed, and the story behind the name.
Okay. Well, it was formed. Basically, these guys were in a band before, and after that band disbanded, James was looking for a new singer because the other three still sort of got along. So they, said we'll keep our ears to the ground, see if we can find anybody. I play at an open mic not far away from where I live, and it turns out James doesn't live far away either. Playing open mics together, saw me, asked me to come up and sing the song with him one day. I think it was Paranoid, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Paranoid with Black Sabbath. Went up, played it, and after that he said, "Actually, I've got a band. Do you wanna come meet them? Are you interested?" And that was it. We went down there, had like an audition jam. I was just riding the wave, to be honest. It was a bit of fun to start with, and then they said, "Yeah, we really like you. Do you want to stay?" And I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, let's do it." It was really good. As for the name, I came up with it by pure chance. I was listening to a podcast. Someone said the word Tempest, and I was like, I like that. How can I turn that into a name? Because we were trying to find something new. Because the previous band they played in was called Vixen X, which was different vibe entirely, and didn't really work for what we were going for. So I thought the word Tempest is strong. Let's, latch onto that and try and turn it into something from there. So Saint was, keeping with that typical thing in heavy metal where you go with the sort of religious connotations and so on and so forth, had that kind of vibe to it, put the two together, and I thought, yeah, that's all right. Send it to the boys, and they said, yeah, cool, we'll go with that. So that's the history of the name, really. But that's how we came together. It's just as low key as that.
Yeah,
I think the biggest element Joe missed was how much the drummer Matt was bugging us to play with him for a long time.
Yeah, I didn't know that bit, to be fair.
Yeah.
Do you want to?
Yeah, so what happened was that previous band split up, lost the singer, and the drummer just kept bugging me and James to hang out a lot. And then all of a sudden, James encountered Joe, and that's when we first re-met as a group. Well, the name, these two were the ones spitballing the names. Like, I was kind of out of that process.
Yeah, because I sent you the idea, didn't I? And you were like, yeah, that works. And we just sort of, like you say, spitballed, and then that was it. Just went from there.
Talking about the name, it wasn't actually uploaded to the channel, but a few months before the Metal to Masses competition started, we had the competing bands. It did change a little bit, which is why we didn't upload our video. But we discussed all the bands, what we knew about them, potential chances. We didn't, none of us three knew Tempest Saint, hadn't heard of you. Wasn't a huge amount online that we found, but I thought I've got a good idea of what this band sound like, just purely by the name, which I think is very important. Anybody who watches the channel knows that sort of band names to me are quite important, and can put me off somebody who I'd really like, or it can draw me in. And I think Tempest Saint certainly suits your style. Would you agree with that? I mean, I think that's where you was going with the story, Joe, as to where it came from.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree, because a lot of those bands, you've got your Judas Priest, your Iron Maiden, all that stuff. They've got that kind of vibe, Black Sabbath. It's all very like edgy, pseudo-religious kind of connotations, and it has that carry through with it, And again, because we've gone with a name that's strong, but also has a little bit of that peppered in, I think it does give a good idea of where we're coming from.
Yeah.
Because we've gone with a similar palette, I suppose, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, Luke mentioned Vixen X a few moments ago. You've played at that band played Club 85. I'm sure I know that name. Would that be? Am I right in saying that?
No, we played the Exchange.
Yeah,
Corn Exchange.
The Corn Exchange up in Hartford.
Maybe that was there.
Yeah.
When was that? Well, obviously pre Tempest Saint, so a couple of years ago.
About that, I think it was about end of 2022.
Yeah,
around about then.
I have to check my little book of gigs, and I'm sure I saw you there.
Yeah.
Sound wasn't quite as good as what it is at Club 85.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. Been a couple of times. It's been a bit hit and miss.
Yeah.
Recently, I mean, when we was actually arranging this interview, I was chatting to Joe, and I think that very morning you were due to play the Cart and Horses in London. Joe was unfortunately, I think you said you had food poisoning, but more relevant than that, your drummer was unable to play because was it a injury or personal matter? I can't remember.
It was a personal matter.
Personal one with his family.
Yeah.
And so he was unfortunately unavailable, and in the end, I think it worked out okay, because I what is it? It's going around. I can't remember what it is, which bacteria it is, but it's
E. coli.
Thank you. It was I had E. coli from a place I'd been the night before, because I do opera as well, or at least I used to, and they had like a social event, and we had some food, and there was a lot of salad stuff, and I had some of that, and I got the E. coli because a few people came down with it. So 24 hours of feeling really nauseous, but it was all right in the end. Touch wood, I didn't feel too bad, but I think it would have been a struggle if Matteo had been available anyway. So it wasn't the worst thing in the world in the end, but definitely unfortunate, especially where the cart and horse are concerned, because we had to dip sort of day or two before. We tried to get a dep in, but there wasn't enough time to make it work, annoyingly, which was just one of those things.
I mean, the reason I brought it up, a couple of reasons. I was really impressed because you actually, you told me you was ill, but you actually made your way down to the show and supported our friends Acts of Vengeance who filled in for you. And I think you got on stage as well and done a, remind me, was it Fear of the Dark?
It's Fear of the Dark, yeah.
I've seen them play that, yeah. I'll have to see if there's any sort of clips or videos of that. I just thought that was really commendable of you and a real shame because it's an iconic venue. I was due to play there last year, but that fell through as well. But maybe one day I will as well. But I've never been, but it does look amazing. And as you say, birthplace of Iron Maiden. Dream for any band like yourself to play there. But hopefully you will one day in the future.
Yeah, big time, 100%. And thanks for the kind words again. I didn't want to just leave him high and dry if I didn't have to. So I went there and just tried to help out. But Arno was cool as well. He's just a class act when it comes to booking and understanding the bands and so on and so forth. So credit to him as well for doing his job so well. It was just fantastic.
Brilliant. Next discussion point. You recently, maybe a month or two ago, released a single. I've certainly been viewing it on YouTube called Self-Vilified, and it features probably a man who needs no introduction, but I will if anybody doesn't know, Tim Ripper Owens, one-time vocalist of Judas Priest. It's a really good song. You can distinguish the two parts between yourself and Mr. Owens, but how did that all come about? That's pretty impressive.
So it came about, again, everything with this band seems to be pretty low-key, more low-key than you'd expect. It came about really 21st century. He made a post on Instagram where he was looking for people to collaborate with. And I imagine he got like 1,000 different emails because we didn't hear back from him straight away. And I actually sent it to the chat as a joke. Like, yeah, do you guys think we should do this? What have we got to lose? Blah, 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 just as a joke. And then James piped up and he said, well, no, fuck it. Why don't we actually do this? Why don't we actually email him? And I was like, oh, okay. You took me seriously? Okay, fine. Just thinking completely fish out of water. Could we possibly be good enough to work with this guy? So we sent him an email, sent him a demo, which I think you...
It took me about... I think when I found out, I was like, well, do we do a song that we'd already had planned for the album, or do we try and make a new one? Because trying to fit him in on essentially what is more suited for Joe's voice would have been a complete challenge.
Yeah.
So I think I spent about a day just trying to write a demo for it. And I think by the end of the day, I had the song down. So then we just took that, sent it to him. So a really rough mixed demo I did at home, just sounding pretty bad, but he still sung over it, bless him. And after that, we got the stems back from him, and that's when we went in the studio down in Rogue to record it all, and just kind of put it all together. I mean, it came through a couple changes, just mainly on my part on the guitar arrangement, but other than that, it's still pretty much the same song as when we did the demo with him. Yeah,
I think because you sent me the demo beforehand as well, and I put the vocal line together. I just could not stop listening to the demo. As soon as I knew that we were going to go for it, I just listened to it over and over and over and over. Came up with a line. We went to your house, recorded the demo. I did both vocal lines together, and I told Ripper which one he would sing in the email. Sent it to him, and he was like, "Yeah, let's go for it." And as James said, that was it. That's how it all happened. Then we went down to Rogue when we got the stems back and put it all together.
I mean, that part of is where I'm lost, putting it all together. But he records his sort of vocals with the guidance of the demo track. And then returns it to you, the band, and then you get someone or yourselves to put it all together and integrate with the rest of the track.
So we take his vocal files that he sends us,
right,
and then we actually record the song for real at the recording studio down at the Rogue in Wembley. And that's where, when we've done all that instrumental, all the arrangement, everything together there. So you've got the whole finished track there. We just lay his vocals on top, put it all in, mix him in with Joe singing over it as well.
Well, it helps a lot. The track was really close to what was already the demo / guide.
Yeah.
So most of us, when we're recording, we're doing the same thing as what Ripper did, where we're just playing to that guide track, which James made in his room.
Yeah. So
then, obviously, it's quite easy to sync all of those vocal lines up.
And he was very gracious as well. He recorded a few harmonies that we didn't put in there, which was really good because there was no impetus to do that whatsoever. He just decided.
I think we got about 10 tracks from him.
We got the benefit of his experience, big time. Yeah. And like I say, very gracious guy, very chilled.
What's he doing now? I must admit, don't follow him on any of the socials. Is he involved in a band, or is he doing this kind of thing to sort of keep his name in the metal world?
So he's at the moment, he's on tour with KK's Priest, which is obviously KK Downing's own generation of Judas Priest. So they're going on tour with Accept and Tailgunner at the moment. And I think they're about to hit the States, but don't quote me on that because I can't remember for sure. But So he's doing that, and he's also got his Ripper solo band, which is a band of guys from Akron, Ohio, I believe, same area as himself, and they play his solo album, which came out in 2023, Embattled, or at least that's the main track on the album. Return to Death Row, it's called, and he tours on that as well. So he's doing the two, as far as I'm aware.
So
it's really good. I enjoy him.
Busy man. Good to hear. Joe, you touched on a moment ago that you unfortunately got ill going to a social event for your sort of friends in the opera world. That's news to me. That's fantastic. But I was going to ask, other than perhaps singers from that sort of genre of music, who are your sort of musical vocal idols? I mean, I think there's some obvious ones, but do you want to go ahead and sort of lay those out for us?
I'll give you some of the less obvious ones. Corey Glover from Living Colour. He's got this fantastic voice. His tonality is warm as hell. His range is just from here to here. And his performance is just fantastic. We went to see them, didn't we? Back in December, I think we saw them.
Yeah.
And I think we just started the Ripper thing at the time, because we were talking about it while we were waiting in line to see Living Colour. And getting to see Corey Glover sing live, there was a moment where he interacted with the audience. He took the mic away, and you could still hear him. I think we were 5-6 rows back. Everybody could still hear him. His voice is just amazing. But everything, cult personality, pattern in time, all that stuff. He just fantastic showcase of his range. Other than him, I think Eric Adams from Man of War as well. He's got this again amazing voice, amazing tonality, and he's managed to keep it going throughout the years. And then obviously you got the more obvious ones like Ronnie Dio and so on. I also really like James Brown too. Again, amazing range, amazing voice. There you go.
Talking of range, I was wondering if I could be able to sort of drop this in. Listen to the sort of the tracks that you've got available online and everything, and then comparing them to your performances at Hitchin over the last few weeks. The range you express on stage even beats the recorded versions, in my opinion. I might be completely wrong there, but just looking back at my own videos and the ones that Dave did for the channel, and the experience of being there, you're hitting notes that you're not even hitting on the recorded versions. You're going above and beyond. I mean, that is something. I mean, I'm going to stick my neck out here and say I think you're probably the best vocalist in the competition.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Very well. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll just keep my head together here.
I think you impressed a lot of people as a band and as a vocalist, as a front man. Really good performances.
Thank you.
Talking of live performances, question I often ask is a bit of a sort of simple one, really, but I like to ask: is there a sort of a song that's you think's always going to be in the set, one you always have to include, and one you think is going to be sort of played in years to come, an oldie that you always go back to? James?
I think Dead Ringer. Yeah.
We should have done 3, 2, 1, everyone together. Yeah. It's going to be Dead Ringer, I reckon.
Yeah.
If not, Beggars Believe, probably. But that's why we laid those two down as the first two, because they were the ones that stuck out. I got to say, though, Riot Pact, that's another good one. I like that one.
What was the third choice, Joe?
Third choice for me is it's either Riot Pact or The Cursed. I like them a lot too, but I think if there's one that's always going to be there, it's going to be Dead Ringer.
Your sort of anthem.
Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant. Getting towards the end of the chat, so I just need to ask. I think you've sort of implied that there might be an album in the works. Is that true for in the near future?
That is true indeed. I think we're going back to Rogue to do it in July.
End of July. Then we've got to do it each recurring month till we've got every kind of instrument down. So I think we're doing we've got about 7 more to do, really.
Yeah.
7 tracks. We're aiming for a 10-track album. So just have the amount of kind of material we've got in the set all laid down out in the studio, all finished and polished. And so 10 tracks for the album, and then pretty much it, I think.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. What's the sort of schedule for that? What's the timetable?
We talked about it at length. I think we'd like to have it done by November, but if it's more realistic to wait a little longer, we will. But November's the goal. That's the goal at the moment.
I think the latest would be January.
The latest would be January. We're not leaving it until
is an arguing point, because obviously I'm still on disagreement because I'm thinking realistically spring.
Yeah, he's thinking realistically spring. We're thinking in terms of how quickly can we get it recorded and out, because obviously there's also the waiting to release it once it's back. But Alessio from Rogue is also really good with that sort of stuff. He came up with the time frame similar to ours. He said, end of the year is realistic. I'm sure you could have it done by then. let's just see what works best for you guys. So
quarter 25 release for the new album.
Yeah, at the latest.
Yeah, hopefully.
And before then, for the rest of the year, sort of any more shows planned?
Yeah, we got quite a full diary actually. Touch wood. We're back at it on July the 9th in St Albans, which is sort of hometown-esque for me and James. Luke and Matteo both live in London, so it's a bit further out for them. But that's a good way to kick the tires. And then we're gonna, after that, we've got the Battle of the Brew, which is a signature brew on August 10th, which will be good fun with the London Metal Coalition. That'll be nice. It's like a day festival type thing.
Okay.
And then I think we've got a couple of gigs at the Hartford Corn Exchange with some of the bands that are coming through the town.
Yeah, we're gonna
Motorhead ADK and
Black Sabbath.
It's like a Black Sabbath tribute band, so they're touring the UK, and we're gonna open up for both of them, and a couple of other ones I'm sure I forgot.
Asylum.
We've got
That's right. We've
October,
got
right?
October in
Brighton
as well, but we've also got the Bedford Esquires.
Yeah.
It's the Heavy Metal Syndicate, I think it is, which is with Planet Fatale, I think anyway, and a couple of other people.
Was that August 31st? Did you say?
August the 31st?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There's been a few bands announced, and I'm looking to get to that one. Who's been announced? It's Firefall are hosting, aren't they? And Scarlet.
Yeah, Firefall.
And a few more, so that'll be a really good show to look forward to. So brilliant, yeah. I'll hopefully catch you there, or maybe on the Hartford shows, maybe going down to St Albans. But thank you guys for joining me this morning. It's been really good to chat to you, and thank you for all the insight to the band and what you got planned for the future.
Thank you, mate.
Cheers.
Thanks.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you. That's it from me. If you've enjoyed the video, please like and share and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on another one very soon. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.